So what are the hotspots here in South Florida? What neighborhoods should we be concerned about um, in this sex trafficking?
So, and this is something that I'm sure some of you have heard, trafficking does not discriminate with ethnicities or races. Trafficking happens across, all races, all ethnicities, and all socioeconomic statuses. However, it does occur more with people that, are living in poverty or are in very difficult situations, because traffickers will prey on the vulnerabilities of children as well as adults. That's what they do. Here within Miami, we specifically work with Miami-Dade County. And speaking for what I see in Miami-Dade County and being part of what we call the MDT, the multidisciplinary task meetings that happen for trafficking with children, this happens all the way down to Monroe County, all the way, because you have the Keys, and that's a big tourism industry down there and a big partying industry down there. And it goes up, all the way up to the Broward County line. And there's not one specific area that we can say, oh, this, happens much more in this area versus another. Unfortunately, it happens everywhere.
Okay. So just to make sure everybody on the call is aware, what is the legal definition, or can you define sex trafficking for us?
So if you guys want to get into a little bit more of a specific, so commercial sexual exploitation, which is what we call CSEX, is a sexual activity involving a child in exchange of something of value or promise of something of value. Now, what's the first thing that most people might think of when they think of something of value? What do you guys think?
Anyone.
Something of value. Most people are going to think of money.
Yeah.
For sex trafficking, especially with children, that it has to be something in exchange of value would be money. However, with children, that is not the case. Something of value for children, most of the time in the cases that we see, are three basic needs. So food, shelter. A lot of the kids that are running away, many of them are in the dependency system. And so they're looking for a place to stay. And so traffickers will lure them in to promise them, oh, I'm going to give you a place to stay. You're not going to have to be moving around as often anymore. I'm going to take care of you, and so they offer them a place to stay. Many of them can be hungry, so they will offer them food. And sometimes they offer them clothing or things that kids want. What are things that kids want? Cell phones. They want electronics, different kinds of things like that. So those are the kinds of things most of the time that children are being promised.
Mm-hmm. And so I've worked in several programs, and I've taken some trainings at Christie House. Can you cover what might be signs of kids you might see every day coming to your program? If you're a school teacher, when we were in school, coming to class, I know some of those signals. Can you give us an idea of what we may look out for in case someone we know is being trafficked?
Absolutely. And I think, the teachers in the school system, they really can play such a huge role and part just by looking for some basic things that's happening with a child, and perhaps reporting it to a guidance counselor, or even speaking, trying to reach out to the child themselves. So when we see children that are truant in school, so all of a sudden they're skipping various classes, or, they're leaving in the middle of the day, at a certain time, and this is consistently happening. Those are signs that could be a sign that something is going on. Also, when you're seeing a child maybe perhaps with multiple cell phones, or this child has a really nice cell phone, and that it's not really possible for this child to have that kind of cell phone, that also can be a sign. If you see perhaps girls with their hair, nails, constantly done, and that the way that they're having their hair done and their nails and everything, eyelash extensions, different things that can make, let's say, a younger girl look older, that we know are, can be very pricey, and this is not, you know, the type of kid that really can afford this, I think those are some of the signs also to look out for. Also, is this child isolated? Are we seeing any marks or bruising? Do we see any tattoo branding, right? Any names, you know, tattooed on the arms? Asking about that tattoo, you know, not in an obvious way, but just saying, oh, hey, you know, what's that? What is that tattoo? I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. You know, whose name is that? And or what does it mean? And they can't really answer, or kind of coming up with a strange answer for those kinds of things. So those can be some of the things to look out for.
Mm-hmm. I know, like, there are certain days of the week, you know, after Wednesday, a girl, in one situation, she would come in her normal self. And then every Wednesday, she'd miss school. And then that Thursday, she'll come in, her hair's done, nails are done, pedicure is done. She's ready for the weekend.
That's right.
It stays that way. And then Monday, she comes back in regular again. So
There
it
you
was
go.
came a pattern of seeing her or her in that. And then the questions become, what are you doing? What's
Right.
going on?
What's going on
You know,
there? Right.
where are you getting the money from?
Absolutely. So and reaching out, you know, to, you know, I think to that child to speak to the child, or trying to notify, like, you know, we talked about a counselor, or even notifying an organization like ours and asking questions, you know, how should we approach something like this? You know, those, it's really important. Teachers spend so much more time with children than even many children spend with their own parents at home, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because they're seeing this child every day, and you start to recognize different patterns within this child because you're with them, you know, for an entire year, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really, teachers can play such an important role in this process. And I was so happy that, you know, it was now mandated for teachers to start to receive training on trafficking, because I think it'll empower teachers to feel like, okay, I can understand this subject. These people are afraid of it. People feel like, I don't understand trafficking. I don't know what trafficking really is.
Yeah.
And so they're afraid to, you know, to touch on the subject, or to approach, or to talk to maybe a child about it.
Mm-hmm. So what about